We are live, coming to you from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery on the road. It is another Wednesday. We have taken this show on the road. We are in Ohio with our Hump Day Happy Chat today, spending some time with a dear friend who's going through some health challenges. And we are very fortunate, very excited to be here with her and to be lending light into the dynamics of what's going on with her. So it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble going live here again. So we're going to try it one more time. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Thank you for bearing with me. So it is a Hump Day Happy Chat going live on, and maybe it won't go live. We will see what we can do here. I'm still pushing the buttons, and so thank you so much for bearing with me. So fun. Don't you love it when technology and you don't actually see eye to eye? Wow. Okay, now we're gonna try. Here we go. We're going to hit this go live button. And if it doesn't work, we're going to abandon this effort. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for bearing with us. Okay, so we're going to go. It is the Hump Day Happy Chat, number 152. And today we're talking about something. I got this topic from the members of my Bliss Collective. So shouting out to the members of the Bliss Collective, thank you so much for your input and your feedback. And we're very excited to be able to talk to you about issues that are really, really important to you. You know, being a member of this group is about continuing on a powerful journey to activate the bliss that you are. And this journey is really important. It's not a getting from here to there necessarily. It's about standing in your power, being in your joy and your magnificence from where you are, not getting there. It's like you're already there. It's like a fish swimming in water. All you have to do is activate that connection to exactly where you are. Isn't that beautiful? It's a lot more simple than most people will allow. And that's because of patterns of conditioning and because of the stories we tell ourselves, and maybe because of the lens we're looking through, right? Our perception, maybe because of our ability to receive and not to receive. There are numbers of things that can get into this cloudiness of what the idea of, you know, what is happiness and where does it come from? And so these Hump Day Happy Chats are an opportunity for me to share with you some wisdom to help you be in it, in something that is already a part of who you are. So just walk in it, stand in it, marinate in it, activate it in your life. That's what this is all about. So if you're listening to this live, awesome. Please type in hello. Glad to hear from you. I would love to know what other comments you have, what questions you have. I'll do my best to answer them live. And if not, to answer them after the fact in the post, in the comments. And if you're listening to the replay, if you could do #replay and let me know that you're seeing it. And please be sure to put in your insights, your questions, your disagreements. Like this isn't all about me being right and me being the big man, big queen on campus. This is about sharing my wisdom. And I think of you as my dear friend Sachin Raja says, conscious beings of choice. So it's not about just listening to me and then checking the box. Yeah, that's it. It's really about you also giving feedback and also, sharing what you got, sharing what you didn't get, sharing what doesn't make sense. That's how we spiral up together. So hashtag repay. Also in the Bliss Collective on Fridays, we have a hashtag Ask Valerie Fridays, and that's another opportunity for you to get some questions answered. And the questions, when you apply the teachings, if you share your experiences of what happens, I did that thing and I didn't exactly experience what you suggested I might. What more can I do? Or I did that thing you suggested and actually it went really well. Here's what happened. Here's what I did. Here's how I'm going to try it next. Remember, there's nothing I can do for you. I'm telling you straight, I cannot change your life. I cannot make you experience more bliss. The only person who can do that is you. I'm offering avenues, ways that I know have worked through my students, my clients, and myself. And so you still are the mistress and commandress, master and commander of your life. You still have the opportunity and you have the responsibility to do your own experimentation and see how things work for you. So I hope, the idea of this group is not that you have like your 51st group on Facebook. That's not what this group is about. This group is about active, practical, do it in my life and reap the rewards, reap the benefits. So it is designed for people who are like, I'm not waiting anymore. I want the most magnificent life I can have right here, right now, and I'm not waiting anymore. So let's get busy with it, okay? That's what this group is for. So please, we're a community that's on a mission to create more awesome juju on the planet. You're not traveling alone. You are with us all. And for all of us to get into that juju, we need to start sharing and creating a ripple effect from us out into the world. And remember, if you have questions, you can always private message me if you don't feel comfortable sharing things in the public forum. So the topic for today's Hump Day Happy Chat, who do you think you are? Now, you may have heard that in conversations, maybe difficult conversations, where someone's asking you, like, how dare you? That's not this question. It's not the energy underneath this question. Underneath this question is the energy of discovery, the energy of curiosity, the energy of open-hearted seeking. What is it? Who is it that I think I am? So remember that here at the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery, we're all about this definition of self-mastery, which is mastering you in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. And I don't know about you, but I see evidence everywhere I turn of the VUCA nature of the world, V-U-C-A, VUCA. Do you know what that stands for? The VUCA nature of the world, hashtag VUCA. Volatility is the V. Uncertainty is the U. Complexity is the C, and ambiguity is the A. It's sort of become this bucket where lots of wise teachers, leadership coaches, all kinds of people, supply chain managers are talking about this nature of the world right now. And it's, you might hear people say things like, it is crazy out there. The world is crazy, cray, cray, cray. I don't agree 100% with that interpretation of what's going on. I do believe that in self-mastery lies the ability to have the more steady state experience, even in the midst of what people are calling cuckoo for coconuts going on around you. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So how do you, as the leader of your life, manage through these dynamics? Well, today's topic, who do you think you are, is one of the ways, the foundational ways that you bring yourself into the solution to the problems that are a part of the VUCA world, the VUCA nature, the VUCA underlying dynamics. And that's self-esteem, your sense of self, your sense of self. So the definition, so Oxford Dictionary, confidence in one's own abilities, confidence in one's own worth, your self-worth, your abilities. You see how they're connected. Self-respect. The idea that it's your subjective evaluation of your own self. It's how you believe about yourself, what your beliefs are, what are your emotional feelings toward yourself. How do you hold yourself? Have you noticed there are people who are always standing straight and tall, that when they are talking to you, they're meeting you eyes to eyes, heart to heart. You might get a sense that they have a sense of self that is powerful, strong, open, and they're putting themselves out there exactly as you see them. You could get that impression. And then are you aware of others who feel a lot more closed, who may have a shoulders down countenance, whose eyes may avert from yours, who may speak quietly or not at all in group settings? Not all of these behaviors are indications of low self-esteem, and yet they may be. And if these are your behaviors, this is a place for you to look, at, who am I being? How am I being that? Why am I being that? So let's talk about, now that we have the definition, let's talk about some indicators, like signs that low self-esteem may be what's running you. And when low self-esteem is running you, the behaviors are going to lead to things that don't serve you because they're coming from a false self. So whenever we're creating as co-creators in the universe, whenever we are creating from the false self, that which we create is only going to be satisfying, fulfilling, successful, aligned to a small degree. And it may be a great degree, but for a short period of time, because it's not the true self that's creating from that space. Are you understanding? Are you with me? Type with you, Valerie, if you got it. So signs that your self-esteem may need some boosting. One is you lack self-trust. So you're not really sure. Now, the thing about self-trust is it can look like whether you should trust other people. But the truth of the matter is, my ability to trust you is not about you, it's about me. It's, do I trust that I have interpretive ability, discernment ability, where I can discern where you're coming from. I can hear at a deeper level than just the surface blah, blah, blah of what you say. That's about me, not you. So higher self-esteem comes when I can trust my own ability to interpret situations, to perceive what's going on, and to navigate myself through them. So self-trust is a marker of self-esteem. The greater your self-trust, the higher your self-esteem. Another marker of low self-esteem, constantly comparing yourself to others. The only way you know where you fit in is to see where you fit in relative to other people. Putting yourself in a comparison place to other people. I'm good as long as I'm better than her, or I'm not so good because I'm not better than him. Like, those are situations that are showing you that you're not comfortable in as you, that you're not acknowledging what you bring to the table in the absolute. In the absolute, we have value, we have magnificence, we have divinity. We are co-creators, we are causal nature in our lives and in the world. So there is absolute wealth, worth, value, esteem in us from doing nothing except breathing and being here. I am that I am. That is the I amness of you. It is a high level, not a low level. Then you add to that, or you bring forth from that space all the other things that you do also. And at any given moment, there may be people who are doing it at a higher level of acumen, at a higher skill level and ability, and others who are doing it at a lower level. But that has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with me. Accepting the I amness of me is about only me. So high self-esteem is feeling the power in the self, not as a weapon, but as just an ability, the I amness, versus having to feel yourself in comparison to others and kind of carving out your space. Well, at least I know I'm better than him. Throughout history, there has been this need for the human being to carve out a space in some kind of artificial man-made hierarchy. When the truth of the matter in the divine world is we are one, we are the same. The all that is flows through all that is, and that includes you and that includes me. And so taking on that space of I'm no better, I'm no worse. We all are the I am, the all that is. That is the highest level of self-esteem. If you engage in people-pleasing behavior, like if you and what you want and what you desire and what you feel that is supportive to you at the highest levels is not what you're focused on, if you're focused on those things only last after you've pleased all the other people, sort of with your head down, sort of with a space for, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't take, oh, I'm sorry. I have a dear friend's daughter and I were talking in the last couple of days here in Cincinnati about her propensity, the propensity to apologize almost for even taking up space. And this is something that I noticed about myself a long time ago. So it makes it easier for me to see it in others. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not good or bad. There's no problem here. There's nothing wrong here. It's just a matter of she waking up to how she doesn't see and honor the magnificence that she is. The same way I have been on a journey within myself to wake up and honor the magnificence that I am, not about the credentials, not about the ability, not about the cognition, just because I am. So if you're running around trying to make other people happy as the way to get your sense of self, that's going to be a short-lived strategy. And in fact, you may be setting yourself up for resentment and anger, because even after you do all that, you may not get the outcome that you want. And so you actually feel more less than, as opposed to I am. If you feel like you have very little control over your life and your job, so to speak, like the only thing you're capable of doing in your life is accepting life the way it is. Like, oh, well, that's the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. If your life feels like it spins out of control and all you can do is just watch it spin, like, oh my gosh, I'm getting dizzy from watching my life spin out of control. If that's the life you're living, then your self-esteem needs a boost. Your self-boost, your self-worth needs a boost. Internal locus of control, psychological term for what we're talking about here with life, having control over your life. Internal locus of control is the space where the I amness of you is felt at such a deep, intrinsic, aligned level. I am one with that. There's nothing in my life that's out of control. Nothing. I can always respond. I may not be able to change every aspect of it, but I can change the most important dynamic of it, which is my response. How do I receive what is going on? And then how do I shift? How do I get into the fluidity that I am in order that I can actually change the way I'm handling it. And from that space, watch the world change around me. It has to. It's universal law. The outer world is reflecting my inner world, as within, so without, as above, so below. So this idea of having control over your life comes from the idea of a higher self-esteem, the I amness, knowing the causal nature that you are, that you've always been. Just a matter of activating it, trusting it, believing in it, being it. Another place where you may be able to see yourself in your lower self-esteem might be in the way you interact with others. And I'm talking very specifically about boundaries, in the way that you allow others to treat you or not treat you. And that can be established by the way you treat yourself. So in the boundaries that you set, you may be getting a glimpse of how poorly you actually set yourself up for success, how poorly you actually love on you. How are you loving on you? How are you in a deep, juicy love affair with you? So the belonging that you might feel in the outside world is actually coming from you nurturing yourself as belonging. That one was an interesting one for me, especially being a soul incarnated into this Black body in a world that, in my experience, doesn't honor souls in Black bodies the way it does souls in white bodies. And so for me, the idea of belonging, when I was often the only Black person in a room full of others, the only one. So I often didn't feel like I belonged. I often didn't feel that I was lovable because of the color of my skin. That has been a dynamic activation within me. The physical relationship with the self. Ever since the brain hemorrhage, I've had to work on my relationship with my physical body and how that can set up a sense of self-esteem. When you're surrounded by hundreds of people, thousands of people who have a higher ability status, so an identity around ability. I used to be an athlete. I used to revel in my ability to play sports. I played all-star soccer. I was a conference champion in track and field. I have a lot of medals. I used to pride myself on this physiological ability. And when the hemorrhage came along and changed my physiological status, my ability status went to a place that I felt was way less than. And even today, it hasn't been restored 100%. And there are still many, many things on a daily basis that I don't put in the category of can't do, but in the category of my ability is different than it was, and it is much lower. Like coming to grips with that, the self-esteem around what I can physiologically do, from standing for a long period of time, like standing in lines, it's hard to do. I sit for the Hump Day Happy Chat because of that. I sit when I teach because of that. So the ability status, using my right hand, driving, walking upstairs, carrying things, being able to drink without having it spill all over me or my computer. These are dynamics. So your relationship with your physical self, whether your body consciousness is healthy and strong, regardless of what your body looks like or even feels like, or maybe you've received a diagnosis that makes you feel like your ability status is lower than others. Your self-esteem could be lowered because of you're not being able to do things the way the people you hang out with do them. Your mind, body, spirit alignment, being able to hear your body as it's speaking to you in its various ways of trying to get your attention. This can lower your self-esteem too. If you're disconnected from the wisdom that's coming to you from the physicality of you. And the last thing I'll pick up for now is What about your safety in your own skin? Like security in the world, feeling supported, feeling resourced. You know, a lot of the young people that I touch and work with who are they're emancipated foster youth. Their resources are very different than children who come from homes where they've got parents to rely on for in tough times, a home to move back to, guidance, coaching, a warm embrace, just a safe port in a storm. So feeling safety in your environment is a deeper, it can be an emotional state more than just a physiological or mental state. So if there are dynamics within any of those things that are challenging you on a self-esteem level and you're aware of it, I say hallelujah. I say hallelujah, because you can't change what you're unwilling to acknowledge, what you're not even willing to see. You can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. So number one thing here is to make sure if you're feeling any of those triggers that I told you, any of those ideas that I told you, then I think the best thing is to, like in this cap, is to recognize that that's a blessed state. That is a blessed state. Awareness is a blessed state. You are awake. That's the number one step in my 4-step process. Wake up to the truth of who you are, or to the false self that you are being. So waking up to my low self-esteem is the only way I can change it. It doesn't necessarily feel good to admit, wow, I have low self-esteem. I'm a people pleaser. Or wow, I have low self-esteem. I run on anger because I'm feeling unseen, unheard, unlovable. That was one of mine. I felt angry all the time to people around me. And that was because I felt like people didn't see me, hear me, and understand me. And at a lower consciousness, subconscious level, and maybe even an unconscious level, I was getting resentful. I was pushing real hard to be seen, heard, and understood. And I was creating difficulty in relationships as a result. And I own that. That is my responsibility. That's been my journey. So having low self-esteem is not a problem. It's not a problem. Having low self-esteem and being unaware of it, that's the problem. Being unaware of what's running you, that's the problem. That's the dynamic that you want to go after. So here in this today's Hump Day Happy Chat, who do you think you are? Go into the spaces where you bring you out. Go into those spaces as a fly on the wall and watch you do it. I had an experience a couple of weeks ago where I was at I'd gone to an event ostensibly to do networking. I'm shifting the business part of what I do, shifting it. And I talk about networking, but I got an opportunity to see that I don't do that very well. And there were several dynamics, which I don't go into now, but I sat at this event and realized the low level or I'm going to call it low level of esteem around putting myself out there. And where I am with what I'm trying to do in the world with my vision can't really happen if I keep it to myself. Can't really happen if I'm not willing to ask for help, if I'm not willing to be vulnerable. Can't really happen if I don't open up to strangers and say, here's what I'd like, and can you help me? You know, and be willing to receive the yes or the no, or the maybe, or the I don't know in love, and feel strong and safe and supported and blessed and loved in the midst of whatever question. So you have to be willing. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to see yourself in all your glory. That is the high vibration glory and the low vibration glory. You take the low vibration glory and learn what you can about you being you. Where did I learn to be me at this level? And then you take the high vibration glory and you breathe love and light into it, forgiveness, tolerance, harmony, You step into the I amness of you, the omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, I am nature, the divinity, the ME in my book title, magnificent essence. You bring that into those spaces where something else is residing, where something else is running you, and you transform. And you transform. So what are some easy, actionable steps? So number one, look at yourself in love, not in retribution, not in resentment, not in judgment, in love. Why am I doing it this way? Where did I learn that? What am I afraid of? What more is possible? In love, you ask those questions. Forgive yourself. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. Forgive yourself for the places where your answers to those questions don't satisfy you. When your discovery at asking those questions is that what I discovered, I can be my own worst enemy. I'm the one who's holding myself back. I'm the one sitting in my own way. Forgive myself, forgive yourself when you discover that might be what's happening or what has happened in the past. That's back there. Without having to go back there, without telling yourself, screw that person, back there, no, that's not the compassion and the love and the tolerance and the harmony and the acceptance that we want. Accepting it all as perfect, brilliant, beautiful. In this moment, it's a matter of, where am I going next from here? One of my favorite quotes from African-American world famous tennis player, Arthur Ashe. Start where you are. Use what you have. So the tools in the Hump Day Happy Chat are some of the tools in the Bliss Collective, the tools in my book, the tools from other leaders and teachers that you'll see here in the Bliss Collective. Use what you have and then do what you can. That's the action orientation. It has to become embodied wisdom. It has to become embodied, actually, before it becomes wisdom. It's just knowledge otherwise. It's just some stuff rolling around in your head that you're so happy to know. You might even be patting yourself on the back. Isn't it great that I finished that book? And then you're on to the next thing, and you're upset that nothing's really changing in your life, and that's because it's not embodied. Knowledge is not power. Power comes from knowledge put into practice, and that's wisdom, embodiment. So you notice yourself, and then you use the tools. Well, what can I do? I forgive myself that I haven't figured it out yet, and I set myself on a path. I think I'll journal, just capture all the times and ways that I try to please people. And when that happens, so in my book, I talk about behavior chains that were created by a man named Chuck Gelati. And he talks about how you do this. You set up a chain. When X happens, so when I notice myself pleasing, in these kinds of situations where I feel I have to make them happy in order to get what I want. So that's just one situation where people pleasing might happen. In a situation where I think I have low status because it's my boss and he or she has higher status, whatever the situation is, in that situation, when I feel like I've got to make them like me, or I've got to somehow get them on my side, I notice that I XYZ PDQ. And instead, I'm going to do this. That's called a behavior chain. So you notice yourself, you forgive yourself, then you make a new choice. Nothing changes till you make a new choice. If you want your life to be different, you have to be different as the liver of your life. And then you watch what happens, and then you rinse and repeat. The cycle continues on and on forever and ever. We're never finished. That's the beauty of it. We just keep spiraling higher and higher. You go deeper into your consciousness and higher into yourself, deeper into your consciousness, higher into the truth of who you are, deeper into your consciousness, higher into the I am nature that you came here to express. And that's it. Yay. That is today's Hump Day Happy Chat. Who do you think you are? You're a magnificent being. You're endowed with causal nature. You are a co-creator with the universe. Your angels and your higher self are ecstatic when you call on them to help you navigate the volatility, uncertainty, the chaos, the ambiguity, the complexity of the world. Those things are always going to be there in some shape or form. Trying to control the world's volatility is a little bit harder fought game and not one that I recommend. It's controlling, breathing life into the highest version of you that is already fully equipped to deal with it in the highest and best way. Are you feeling me? I hope you'll take advantage of being able to type in the chat. Remember, hashtag replay, ask a question, I will answer it. So when the question is, who do you think you are? Look at the way you are being you, the ways, and you'll get some insight into the answer to that question. You are magnificent essence. You are causal nature. You are a fragment of the divine. You are a drop in the ocean, and you have the expression of the full ocean in that one drop that you are. You are divinity walking. You are God manifesting in every moment of your life. The divine speaks in this realm through you because you are image and likeness and divine. The divinity is already active. You just need to activate it. Remember to count your blessings no matter what you're experiencing. There is good in every moment, every experience, every being. That's today's Hump Day Happy Chat. Who do you think you are? Thank you for tuning in. You can always go to youtube.com/Valerie Shepard. There are over 100 other Hump Day Happy Chats for other topics around self-mastery. Will help you master you and your life so that you can exquisitely manage the VUCA nature of the world today. Self-mastery is the key to your happiness, your peace, your unconditional love, and your emotional freedom. And I hope you'll continue on this journey with me to go to the highest vibration that you possibly can. I always close the Hump Day Happy Chat with the Karanaya Metta Sutra, which is the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. The true nature of you is divine. Awaken to it. Trust it. Be it. Leverage it. Feel it. Know it. May all beings awaken to the truth of their divine nature. And may all beings be free. That's it from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery on the road this week in Cincinnati, Ohio. Many blessings to you. The leaves here are spectacular. What a blessing it has been to see some flame red bushes and everything in between, green all the way to red. The divine in that is just amazing. I wish you lots of love. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.